Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a great video for you today, and it is hot right off the presses, as I'll call it. There's been 11 people charged in West Virginia for using a drone to bring contraband into a federal institution, McDowell Federal Correctional Institution. It's a 1,600 person facility. Well, about 130 of those are for the camp. A lot of facilities have a medium and a camp, or a penitentiary for sure, and a camp. This one has a medium and a camp. Now, what has happened is these 11 people who were charged, one is actually a juvenile. It doesn't surprise me that much when you're talking about drones and technology. These young kids know a lot. But this is in West Virginia, in a place called Welsh, outside Welsh, about 4 miles from Welsh, West Virginia, which is in no man's land. The prison was built in 2010, or completed in 2010. And you know, it's funny, the more research I did on this prison, the prison comes to a facility area and says, hey, we're looking to build a prison. Let's have a town hall meeting. Let's see what you guys... And they all were for it, the people in the town, until they're finding out right now that the jobs they were promised and all that kind of stuff, they don't have. But that's another video. We're going into this 11 people who are charged with... they're calling it a criminal ring, or a criminal gang, if you want to call it. They were bringing contraband into this McDowell. They're not sure even if they got it in. So these cases are going to be weak, if anything, in my opinion, number one. Number two, what they said they were doing is, since November of 2023, which is not long ago, it's only a couple of months ago, the facility called the local sheriff and said that we have a lot of drone activity around our facility, and they started an investigation, the sheriff's office. Now, you would think this would be just a federal investigation, because believe me, when the federal government doesn't want locals or anybody on their land or on their property, they won't let them on. In fact, the federal system doesn't even require a doctor who works at that facility to be licensed in that state. In fact, that guy could lose his license in that state and still work on that federal institution. That I know for a fact, because it has happened. So now what we have here is 11 people charged. Here's what they were doing, supposedly. They were running Schedule 1 contraband, which is going to be heroin or cocaine, or I think even marijuana is still a Schedule 1 stuff, into this federal institution. And this is not uncommon. Let me explain something, what happened when I was in prison. And the reason I say it's not uncommon. When I was in a couple of prisons, what they would do is they would, people from the outside would take a tennis ball. Yes, a tennis ball. You know, you could take a tennis ball or a Spalding and you can open them up, either cut them or there's a seam, and break them apart. Then what they would do is they'd fill it totally with marijuana or dope, either glue it so it looks just like a tennis ball, or a ball that we would have on that yard. And then, like I said, the United States Penitentiary Atlanta, which is right around a city, so there's a lot of people and bums and people close to the walls and stuff. Now, they have gun towers and all that. That don't mean shit. You know, they can see up into them, even if you can't see them. What's the odds of that guy seeing that guy? Maybe they put a diversion on this side of the wall where everyone will look there right away. Couple of guys just jump out of a car and throw a tennis ball or two over to the yard. Now, they'll do that at night, obviously, and if nobody sees them do that, trust me, it's not going to be found, because first of all, the guards get lazy. They don't check the prison before sun comes up, or check the yard before sun comes up. Because what happens is, when they crack the doors, they call it 6 a.m., they'll open the yard for people who want to go to the yard and work out and not eat. So once they call the first unit for chow, which is 6:10, 6:15, people can go to the yard and start their workout. Some people are early birds and they'll do that. I used to do that sometime, and get to the yard. Now, somebody who knows a package is coming over the wall is going to go there and look for that tennis ball. Get that tennis ball and be flush. And it happened a lot. I've seen it personally happen. I watched them pick the balls up in some prisons. And it happened in multiple prisons where I was at. It's just that they threw the balls. Now they're using drones. So this is not some kind of big, oh, now that technology's here, they're easier to do it. Is it easier? I don't know. You know, they have these devices now, tech device at some prisons. I was reading about this, that they can detect a drone in the area, and then they can follow that drone to where it lands. Again, that's a lot more risky than somebody just coming close to a fence or a wall. And look here up in this picture. Here's the aerial view of this prison, McDowell. Now look at this. There's nothing around this place. You don't think somebody can go camping for a night, come up and just throw a ball over these walls? First of all, it's fences. Second, they usually have what they call 2 roving guards that go around the prison at all time. One here, one there. And they'll just keep going around. You could time that very easily. Go up to a wall, boom, up to the fence, throw that thing, easily get to the yard on that. And what one warden was complaining about, he said, well, this is all come because now cell phones are so prevalent. We can knock down on that. I don't know about that, warden, but I'll tell you why. Because when I was in, we didn't have many cell phones. Just when I was in maximum security prisons, you didn't have a cell phone. First of all, cell phones were somewhat new. And they were big. They're not like they are today. Obviously, you can get little small ones. And they're smartphones, and people are not going to lose the cell phone over something stupid. But in fact, there's so many cell phones in prisons now, they knock them down. It's not even an escape charge like it was when I was in prison. So, cell phones are prevalent. Would they stop this kind of stuff? Absolutely not. Well, these 11 people, and what are they going to do to them? And what kind of charge? Let me tell you how serious it is, really. 2 of them got hit with $150,000 cash bond. That's cash bond. A few more got hit with, one got hit with $50,000 cash bond. A few got hit with $40,000 cash bonds. And the others were $20,000 cash bond. Cash bonds is that you can't put up property. You can't put something like that up. You can only put up something like, cash that you had, a cashier's check or whatever it is, of that nature. And, obviously you can get an equity loan on a home and then have it and stuff of that. You can totally do that. That is kind of common. So that's going to happen. I can tell you that. Now, also what's going to happen is they're going to get down to who the people in the prison was. And I already think they might know. One, cell phone records, see how far deep they're going into this. They're going to find out who this contraband, they're not saying anybody got caught with contraband. They're saying introduction, so they know it was contraband. Now, are they saying there's no charge of anybody being charged with selling of contraband or selling of narcotics or distribution of narcotics? So when you don't see that, you got to say to yourself, okay, they don't have any kind of weight, because they'll wait. I mean, the feds will wait. They'll get something like this. They'll let a few come in. They'll know what's going on. They'll find out where it's going. They'll find out if a guard is involved. They will do it if they want. Now, being there's 11 people charged in this whole entire thing, Schedule 1 contraband, intent to deliver, felony conspiracy, operating an unmanned aerial vehicle illegally. I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, you can probably charge that with anybody. And, of course, attempt to introduce narcotics into a federal institution, which is, back when I was around, it was a 5-year sentence. Now, do they give 5 years? Probably not. There's a one juvenile they don't name. What's going to happen to him? What kind of, was he the one who owned the drone, showed people how to use it? Did he really know what was going on? Nobody knows at this point. But you're going to see more and more of this, because I've been going through the prison logs, prison stuff, and a lot has been going on with prisons right now. Whether it's the deaths that's been going on in federal prisons, there's been a whole hearing. I'm going to do a video on that. There's also 3 guards are up for trial in Hazleton. That's the same prison that Whitey Bulger got killed in, and they're up for abusing an inmate, falsifying records, which happens all the time. So we're going to see more of that. But on this case, 11 people hit with a drone. No shock. Trust me, no shock. It was going on before drone. It was just with an arm. If you had a good arm and you could throw a ball, you could throw it over the fence and you can get the drugs into prison. And that's just one way. Let's face it, facts too. Whatever way they're getting here, they're going to get it in, because, again, we have too many people incarcerated for stupid things, just totally stupid things. This facility with 1,600 prisoners, not even many notable inmates. One a guy named Tony Mack, who was the mayor of Trenton, New Jersey, he was there for 4 years. He was there for 50-some-odd months, but he did 4 years there. He did from 14 to 2018. So it's not really a popular prison. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's in West Virginia. But that's one of the places the prison system will put you. They don't care. They don't care how long it takes your family to come see you. We know that. Now, again, as a person who goes after prisons, or at least tries to hold them accountable, can you? I don't know. Prisons are a part of society now that it's just what it is, man. It's gotten to be such a big business, sad as that is, in the country we live in, that we have such a high incarceration rate. But I am glad there are senators like Joe Manchin and others, both Republican and Democrat, who are pulling the whistle and pulling the cards on these prisons, whether it's Atlanta, whether it's West Virginia, wherever the prison is. They need to be holding these prisons accountable for what's going on, because it's the citizens they represent that are holding these people, that these prisons are holding. And yes, we made mistakes, a lot of us. That's facts. And most people did. Do they deserve the harsh treatment they're getting? I don't think so. Maybe you do. You could leave me a comment in there and say, just don't do a crime, you won't go to prison. It's not as easy as that, or it's not as cut and dry as that. But if that's your opinion, I'll respect that as well. So leave me a comment on that. Let me know what you think about drones going into prison. I don't know. No shock to me. Have a great day, everybody. Please stay safe and make good choices.